Aja alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Alright, thank you everyone for joining. Let's get started. So today's topic is trigonometry, and by that I won't discuss the basic concepts of trigonometry. I think by this time you should already get familiar with what sine, cos and tan means. These are called trigonometric ratio. Okay, so sine is basically cos, tan, every trigonometric ratio boils down to just one ratio. In reality, there is only one ratio, which is sine, and you can create all other ratios as a combination using sine. You know how? Sine basically, if you try to see the curve of sine, it is something like this, sine x, and cos x is nothing but shifting this graph to left side by 90 degree. So you can write sine x, you can replace sine x with cos. Let's say this is a triangle. Okay, so we know that the side that is opposite to 90 degree is called hypotenuse. You know that? Hypotenuse. Okay, and if I choose a certain angle, this is theta, the side opposite to that is what we call opposite, and the side adjacent is called adjacent, and sine theta is equals to opposite by hypotenuse. So if the same thing I want to represent, if I want to get the same value opposite by hypotenuse by using cos, so what would that cos thing be? If we know that the summation of the all interior angles of a triangle is 180 degree, we know that, right? So if this is theta and this is 90, let that be x. So x plus theta plus 90 must be equal to 180 degree. So what is x then? X equals 90 minus theta. So which means this thing is 90 minus theta. So if we try to calculate the cos of 90 minus theta, what do we get? Adjacent by hypotenuse, the same thing as opposite upon hypotenuse. So you see how sine theta and cos 90 minus theta are exact same thing. So this is how we can replace sine theta by using cos 90 minus theta. In other words, we can make sine theta as a combination by changing cos theta. Similarly, for tan theta, we can write tan theta as sine theta by cos theta. So everything basically is just sine, can be represented as a sine, which is the basic thing. And you already know that cosec theta is the opposite of sine theta, and then sec theta is opposite of cos theta, and cot theta is opposite of tan theta. These are just basic things. You should already be familiar with this. Okay, but this is not the topic for today. So yeah, it's nothing fancy. Cosec is just the terminology that used for 1 upon sine theta, so nothing else. So just we name the term 1 upon sine theta cosec theta, nothing else, and we just name the term 1 upon cos theta to be sec theta, and 1 upon tan theta to be cot theta. We just name these things. The inverse of sine, cos, tan, we name that to be cosec, sec and cot, and nothing is different. Yeah, so if sine theta is opposite by hypotenuse, so which means what? The inverse of sine theta would be h by o. Similarly, cos theta is adjacent by hypotenuse, so inverse of cos theta is sec theta, so that would mean h by a, and the inverse of tan theta is cot theta, which is a by o. Just inversing the fraction. Okay, so if you just inverse 1 upon o by a, it becomes a by o. Okay, and we remember these things with so ka toa. Sine equals opposite by hypotenuse, cos equals to adjacent by hypotenuse, tan equals to opposite by adjacent. Okay, so this is the chapter like this is what I recommend you guys to use your radian mode of the calculator if you are solving differentiation, integration, iteration, or like a differential equation, and also complex numbers where you have to deal with the exponential form. You won't understand it right now, but I just included this thing so that you can refer to this in the future. Whenever you study these topics, you refer here back. Okay, so radian mode is like compulsory for these topics. Now, are we familiar with this thing, this chart? What about can I?
Yes, I am. It's a quadrant.
We have 4 quadrants here. This is called the first quadrant, second quadrant, third and fourth, and we have there are different mnemonics by which we memorize this. Some says all students say chemistry, all students trust Cambridge, add sugar to coffee, or all students take calculus. Add sugar to coffee. There are different mnemonics. Okay, whatever you are comfortable with, just remember that. And if this is 0, if we go anti-clockwise, then this becomes 90, 180, 270 and 360, you know. And if it is clockwise, then this is negative 90, negative 80, and so on and so forth, up until you reach here, which is negative of 360. So since you are already familiar with this, I don't want to waste much time here and get into the real topic that we will discuss today, the advanced portion. So you know that angles can be measured in degrees and radians. And how do you convert anything from degree to radian? You just remember 180 degree equals to radian, pi radian. Pi is 3.14, the never-ending what is called irrational number. So just know that 180 degree is pi radian, and you can convert anything else. So if you want to convert from degree to radian, divide that with 180. So let's say I want to calculate 270 degree to radian. So divide by 180 into pi. And if you want to calculate from pi to radian, from radian to degree, then divide by pi, multiply by 180. Okay, just the opposite. Okay, and yeah, so you can memorize these famous angles so that it would accelerate your working. Not famous, but I mean common, or it is used very often. 90 is pi by 2, 45 is pi by 4, 30 is pi by 6, 60 is pi by 3, and 36 is 2 pi. You know why do you need this? Because of this. Hamad, could you please read these things out?
Some questions ask for answers in exact form. In these questions, you must not use your calculator to evaluate answers, and you must show the steps in your working. Exact answer may include fractions or square roots, and you should simplify them as far as possible. Check to see if your answer is required in exact form. In a trigonometry question, you will need to use exact values of sine 60. For example, to obtain an exact answer, make sure you know the exact values of sine, cos, and tan 30, 45, and 60, as they are not provided in the examination.
Which means you have to memorize this table. Even though you have the calculator in your hand, but since you're supposed to show your working, if you don't show your working, like they will catch you. They will be able to know when you use the calculator and when you didn't. Because you know, in calculator, if you put sine 45, they won't give you 1 upon root 2. They will give you the rationalized thing, which is root 2 by 2. However, you are supposed to remember and memorize 1 upon root 2. This is how they will caught you. So that's why you should memorize this entire table. It is better that you memorize the exact value, sine 45 1 upon root 2, cos 60 half. Without this table you should be able to say sine 0 is 1, sine 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1, like this. But if you are unable to do so, then know how to make this table. You just have to memorize these 5 values. Sine 0 is 0, sine 30 is 1 by 2, sine 45 is 1 by root 2, sine 60 is root 3 by 2, and sine 90 is 1. That's it. And the rest of which you can find just writing the inverse of this. Sine 0 comes here, 1 comes here, half comes here, root 3 by 2 comes here, and 45 is the same. And then you can find tan theta using the formula sine theta by cos theta, using the identity. So 0 divided by 1 is 0, 1 divided by 0 is infinity. Half divided by root 3 by 2 is 1 by root 3, and 1 by root 2 divided by 1 by root 2 is 1. In this way you can find the rest of them, and you can always find the radian equivalent, and yeah. Undefined. Alright, so make sure to memorize this. Now we will learn the basic for how to measure an angle. Every angle has two main values. One is the original angle theta, and another is the basic angle alpha, or that is the acute angle with x-axis. In whichever quadrant you are, alpha always lies with the x-axis. Okay, so if we have an angle here, now Hamad, your job is to tell me what is the theta and alpha. Your job is to tell me the theta and alpha for each of the scenarios. I will remain muted now, as I will give you the floor, and each time I draw the angle, your job is to, number one, tell the theta, and first tell the alpha and then tell the theta. What is the alpha and theta in this case?
Alpha is 89, 88, and theta is 2. You are so... yeah, alpha is 88 degrees. Alpha is 88 degrees. 70.
Oh my god, no way, that is a 0. A 0 na. 2 degree. I don't think no way that is 0. Theta is 90 plus 20, so that's 110. You have the O level of price. Our O level is obviously tomorrow calling. I know. Bro, you understand. It is 75 now.
75.
So it is 75 or
Alpha is 15 and theta is 75.
oh no, theta is theta is 50 also.
Theta always start from positive x-axis, and alpha is always the angle with the x-axis. দেখছো বেসিক পারে না, জিজ্ঞেস করে কেন কেন এটা পড়াচ্ছে এখন, দেখছো?
আমি তো পারি।
সবাই না আগে তবে
It's an 80, alpha হচ্ছে 80 আর আরেকটা ওইটা হচ্ছে 260, 80 আর 260,
হাম্মাদ
80 alpha আর হচ্ছে 180 plus
বলো না তো,
80 plus 7
বলো, তুমি মাইক বন্ধ করছো।
Alpha is 80 and or theta is like 180 plus here we have 70. 80. 180 plus 80 is 260.
alpha হচ্ছে 30 আর theta হচ্ছে 330.
Yes. Alpha is 30 and theta is 230. 330.
Exactly. So you have solved each of these in the correct manner. So yeah. So now we learned how to measure any angle. Every angle has two main angles, that is the alpha and theta. Now here is the thing. Trigonometry ratio of any angle theta, sine costan of any angle equals trigonometric ratio of its basic angle alpha after adjusting plus minus signs for quadrants. So what do we mean by that? Can you find the sine 150 without using any calculator? Your job is to find and tell me.
Sine 150.
Hey, calculator nahi.
Use sine 30.
Calculator nahi.
I know আচ্ছা calculator নাই।
Sine 90 হচ্ছে
Sine 150. Sine 150 is equals to cos
Cos কেন?
sine 150 হচ্ছে
sine 30. Sine 30. It's just sine 30. And sine 30 is equals to 1 by root 2.
হয় নাই,
1 by root 2.
হাফ।
আর এটা মনে থাকবে কেমনে আমার? Sine 30 half.
মনে থাকবে কেন, এই মুখস্থ করবা?
আমি সার্চ দিও ক্যালকুলেটর পাইলে তো অপশন।
1/√2 তো তোমার দিবে না, তোমার 2√2 দিবে।
হ্যাঁ তো আমি am I that dumb? like আমি তো জানি এটা 1 by root 2.
ক্যালকুলেটর তোমাকে দিবে √2/2।
হ্যাঁ বাট আমি তো জানি এটা root 2 by 2 লিখতে হবে না, তো আমি চাই লিখতে হবে 1 by root 2. I just write 1 by root 2.
কি হামাদ বল না কেন?
Tell them how you did it to that.
Hamad, where are you?
Well, I am out at McDonald's eating McChicken. আচ্ছা আমি বলছি তুমি বুঝতেছি না বেসিক্যালি 150 তাই বললাম
If you're not understanding, please read this thing. I've clearly explained. Trigonometric ratio of any angle theta equal to trigonometric ratio of its base angle alpha after adjusting plus minus signs for quadrants. So what is sine 50? Sine 50 is this thing. So what did I say? It's the same as trigonometric ratio of its basic angle. So sine theta is same as sine alpha, which is half. after adjusting plus minus sign for quadrants. We know that in second quadrant sign is positive, so that's why we will have positive half. Similarly for cos 2 to 5, where is cos 2 to 5? In the third quadrant. Tan is here is tan is positive, so cos is negative. Cos alpha is equal to cos 45. Cos theta is equal to cos 45 after adjusting plus minus sign. So if cos is negative, which means it will be negative.
Yes.
Okay. And for what if the thing is given in radian, how would you solve this?
It's the same. You just take 90 degree as pi. So let's say our angle this একটা, and I try to figure out if the angle কোন quadrant হবে. Let's say the angle is half pi. So it's in the first quadrant. Right? So তখন half pi is from the first quadrant. Second quadrant হলে 2 pi
My advice is that you always convert that to degree. So we know that pi by 6 is 30. 11 into 30 is tan 133. Or you can alternatively convert it to degree by 11. You can see my decimals. 11 by 6.
Now we can.
You can. Eleven by 6 pi. Okay, we have to convert it to degree, so that equals 360, 180 by pi. So this is 330. Always convert it to the degree equivalent. So we have to find tan 330. That is the same as tan alpha after adjusting plus minus sign. So we know that here only cos is positive. So tan 30 is 1 by root 3, but because here tan is negative, so tan 11 pi by 6 is negative 1 by root 3. So do you have any confusion up until this point?
No, it's clear now.
Now we will move on to equation solving, and this is one of the crucial aspect of trigonometry chapter. I know you might have learned it in a particular way, but I want you to forget your method for now and learn how I learn the method that I am currently teaching. So equation solving, let's say we have been given sine x equals to half, and you have been given find the value of x in the range between 0 and 360. So first of all, you check the sign, whether sign is positive or negative. If sign is positive, we know that it is in the first two quadrant, right? And if sign was negative, we would know that it is in the last two quadrant, third and fourth. Okay, first thing, step 1, you check whether you have permission to take inverse or not. What does that mean? This variable and this variable must be the same. This is x and this is x, so it's fine. We have the permission to take inverse. Step 2, ignore any negative signs while taking inverse. If this was negative half, yet you only take positive half, and you find the basic angle. This is step 3. Find basic angle alpha equals to sine inverse half. We know that alpha equals to 30. You understand? Then next thing, you know that sign positive, so it must be, then you make the alpha in the grid. This is 30, this is 30, and we have to go up until 360, so one loop. Okay, so which means what? First angle is 30, another angle is this angle, which is 180 minus 30, which is 150. So our final answer is x equals to 30 and 150 degree. You are okay with this?
What's the point of taking basic angle? Please explain again.
Yeah, because we learned this, that sine, cos, tan, trigonometry ratio of any theta, angle theta equals trigonometry ratio of its basic angle alpha after adjusting plus minus signs.
Yeah, I get that, but how we are using this in this question?
We are trying to find the value of x sine x for which it is half. So first, finding the basic angle gives us the angle with the x-axis, and then we find for the range we find the theta, which is, first of all, it's 30 and then 150. Now we could go forever, like this doesn't end. Because of this range, they have told us to find all the value of x that satisfies this range. So if there was more than 360, you know how we do that. First of all, we find the angles in the quadrant. So this is 30 and this is 150, and then we just add 360. We keep on add 360, we get the next successive angles. Here also we add 360, you get the next successive angles. Just rotate to the same point. Okay, so if you were given cos x equals to negative root 3 by 2, please listen carefully. First, step 1, check whether you have the permission to take inverse or not. And we do have, because this thing and this thing is matches. Like this is x and this is also x, not 2x or half x or 3x, something else. Step 2, ignore the minus sign, calculate the alpha equals to cos inverse root 3 by 2, which is 30. Step 3, cos is negative, which means what? Where is cos negative? In the second and third quadrant, and we found the basic angle alpha 30 degree. So we have to find up until 720. So first angle is this thing, which is 150, and the second angle is this thing, which is 180 plus 30, which is 210. And what do we do now? We just add 360 from here. That's it. 360. That is that will give us the next answer, which is 510, and we add 360, which will give us the next answer 510. So note, if range is more than 360, first find two angles and keep adding 360 to each answer until it goes out of the given range. You understand? If we add again 360, you will find that it goes beyond our given range, which is 720, and that is when we stop. You understand how I solve this?
Yes, I do.
Now let's say we have tan x equals to negative 1 by root 2. Step 1, do you have the permission to take inverse? We do. Tan inverse only positive, 1 by, ignore the negative, 1 by root 2, which is 35 point this thing. Where is tan negative? In the second and fourth quadrant. So take the basic angle. Okay, now find the theta, which is, first angle is 144, this thing, and the second angle is this thing, which is 360 minus 324. Now look what is the given range. We have to go up until 360 in the positive. So we found two values, but that's not it. We have to also go negative 180. So which means what? After we have to go clockwise now. Clockwise now. So from here we go clockwise and find negative 335. And if we try to go the clockwise again, the next angle is greater than negative 180. That's why we don't go. And we write our final answer by first writing the negative angle. So please note this very important thing. If range is in negative, it is mandatory to first find negative angles, because we give our final answer in ascending order from small value to large value. So first calculate all the negative angles and then go to the positive side. You're okay with this?
Yes.
If so, then we move on. Oh. Can you try to find the value of x for which sine 2x equals to negative half? If you have understood everything, can you try to find this? Solve this question. Now, what if sine 2x equals to negative half, and they have asked us to find the value of x that satisfy within the range up to this thing. Now, what is the first step that I have repeated all up until this point? What is the first step?
Finding Finding out the base angle by inversing.
Nope, this is not the first step. Here we don't have the permission to take inverse because this thing is not equal to this thing. So in order for you to take the permission, you have to change x to 2x. So if you do so, you multiply the entire thing with 2. So multiplying 0 with 2 becomes 0, x with 2 becomes 2x, and 360 with 2 becomes 720. You understand? So then next step is if you have no permission, to take inverse, then change the range. Okay? Then you substitute 2x with a, and you find a is greater than 0, less than 720. You understand? So now you find sine a equals to negative half, and everything else is the same. Now you take alpha, basic angle, sine inverse 30. Sine is negative in these two quadrants. Okay, first find the first two things, which is 210 and 570, and then what do? You just keep on adding 360 up till 720. Now your range for a is what? 720. Now you have the values for a with this. Remember, this is not a final answer because they said you have to find x. Now we know we use a substitution. We use a substitution for a equals to 2x, so replace it back, 2x equals to this thing. Now x is the half of each of these angles. So this is your answer. Now if the question is cos x minus 70, what do? We substitute a equals to x minus 70 and we change the range because we don't have the permission. We subtract negative 70 from each side. So we now have the range for a. So cos, now you take the basic angle, cos alpha equals to half, alpha equals to 60. So which is, cos is positive, so first quadrant and fourth quadrant right here. So first quadrant and fourth quadrant, we find all the we first find angles in the negative side. Remember, we have negative, we can go up until negative 70. So we take the first thing is negative 60, and the next thing is only 60. We can't take 300 because that is out of the range, greater than 290. These are the value for a. Now substitute it back with x minus 70 and add 70 to get x equals to 10 and 130. So this is how you solve equations of trigonometry. So confirm that you have understood everything.
Yes, I did.
Now the next portion is very important. Here we will learn total 25 identities. Don't get shocked or overwhelmed because you already know 17 from your previous study. Today we will learn 8 new identities. We will recap our previously learned 17 and learn new 8 identities. So some of the formulas will be given to you in the examination, but you need to know what does that formula represent. They will give you in a very concise or formulated way. If you don't understand how that formula works, that for a given formula will not avail you at all. But I suggest that you don't rely on that given formula, because going back and forth in the exam costs you time, and this paper is really hectic. You have to do a lot of work in that amount of time. So you don't want to waste a single second in examination. So I suggest that you know the formula by heart, and by that I don't mean that you have to memorize it like parrot. Sin x equals to tan x equals to sin x by cos x. No, when you practice a lot of problems using this formula, you will automatically know this, or like this will become a muscle memory, similar to typing. When you type, you don't think where is the keys, where are the keys. You just think the word like this: a quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I don't think where the keys are. I just think where the what do I have to write. This is what we call blind typing, or so what happens when you are familiar with where the keys are, your fingers like automatically know. You don't have to think. You just type a quick, and you don't have to even look. You just look at the screen. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay. Yeah, you make mistakes, but you also correct the mistakes without looking at the keyboard. And you can also type using without looking at the screen as well. Okay, so this just like that. Okay, so first identity, reciprocal. I already taught you in the beginning. Reciprocal of sin x, cos x, cosec x, and 1 upon cos x is sec s or secant x. Full form for sec x is secant x. Sine. I think the full form for sine is sinusoidal, if I'm not mistaken. Sinusoidal. And for full form for cos is cosine. Full form for tan is tangent. Okay? Cosec, cosecant, secant, cotangent, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So 1 upon cos is secant x, or 1 upon tan is cot x. These three identities you already know. Then we have tan x is equals to sine by x, cot x equals to cos by sine. Okay. Then we have sine squared x plus cos squared x equals to 1. 1 plus tan squared x equals to secant squared x. Then we have 1 plus cot squared x equals to cosec squared x. And then you have these three identities. Okay? Can you tell me what does sine square, or what does this square means actually? It just basically means, when we say sine square, it's just the same as sine whole square, because you have to repeat this everything. The mathematicians, they were very lazy. They were like, you don't have to repeat this thing so just give the square here. You understand? So sine x square is sine, and the square is inside the bracket. So like, do not make this mistake. Okay, they are not equal. Alright, so sine of negative theta equals to negative sine theta. You know how? Because we know that in the fourth quadrant sine is negative, and we know that sine theta equals to sine alpha, basic angle. Cos negative theta is positive cos theta, because here cos is positive. Tan negative theta equals to negative tan theta. Negative tan theta, okay? And you also need to remember these three identities. We know that sine 90 minus theta is to cos theta. You want a proof? Here is the proof. This is hypotenuse. This is theta. This will be 90 minus theta. So sine theta is a by c, opposite by hypotenuse. See what cos theta is. Cos 90 minus theta is a by c, same thing. So sine 90 minus theta is cos theta. Similarly, cos 90 minus theta will be sine theta. And tan 90 minus theta is 1 by tan theta. You know how? Find tan 90 minus theta. It is b by a. So b by a is just inverse of a by b. You understand? And then we used to have the formula for sine 180 minus theta, cos 180 minus theta, and tan 180 minus theta. Sine 180 minus theta is sine theta because it is in the second quadrant, sine is positive. Cos 180 minus theta is negative cos theta because here cos is negative, and tan 180 minus theta is also negative because tan is also negative here. Up until this point you already know all of these. Okay, this was in your P1. Now we move on to P3. We have 3 double angle formulas and 3 compound angle formulas. We have 3 variations for cos to theta, that makes us total 8 formulas. It will be given in the paper, but it will be given in a coded format. We will get to know. We will see how that works, and you will have to know how to use this formula. And I suggest that you memorize. Okay. So these are what we call the double angle formula. Sine to theta equals to 2 sine x cos x. Now notice one thing. Here from 2x it became half. If it was 4x, it would have become 2x. Just becomes half. Okay? But that is not the case with 3x. If it works only for even. Cos 2x became x. So cos 2x is what? No. You don't go there. That will not assist you. Only use this for even numbers. For odd we have compound angle. For 3x you write 2x plus x. Okay. So cos 2x is cos square minus sine square x. Now do you understand how this thing and this thing is the same? We can write sine square x as what? 1 minus cos square x. You remember? Cos square x minus 1 minus cos square x, and then cos square x minus 1 plus cos square x. So it became 2 cos square x minus 1, the same thing. Similarly, if you convert the sine square x from here, 1 minus sine square x minus sine square x is 1 minus 2 sine square x. Okay, so this is how you get these 3 variations. Okay, and then you have tan 2x, which is 2 tan x divided by 1 minus tan square x. Tan 2x equals 2 tan x 1 minus tan square x. These are what we call the double angle formula. Now we have the compound angle formula, where sine a plus b is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. If it was minus, then everything is the same except for minus. Sine a cos b minus cos a sine b. So for sine, only for sine, stays the same. If you have minus here, if you have plus here, you have plus here. If you have minus here, you have minus here. But that is not the case for cos. If you have plus here, then you have minus. If you have minus here, then you have plus. Sine is opposite. So they will give you in this format plus minus plus minus. So if you don't know the formula, how will you utilize it from the worksheet or from the given formula booklet? You understand? So cos a plus b is cos a cos b. Here it was combination of both, sine cos, but now only cos, only sine. Cos a cos b minus sine a sine b, and if it is minus, then plus. Okay. Now we move on to the tan a plus b, which is tan a plus tan b, 1 minus tan a tan b. Sign stays the same for numerator but different for denominator, which means if you have positive here, we will have positive here but negative here, and if you have negative here, we have negative here but positive here. So this is what we called the compound angle formula. Please confirm that you have understood everything.
Yes, I did.
Alright, that's great. Now we move on to double angle advanced variation. This is very, very important. Yeah, so you know that sine, you observed how this thing became halved. If it is 4x, it becomes 2x. Everything is the same. If it is 6x, then everything is the same, but except for that the angle becomes half. So same for cos 2 theta became theta, so cos 4 theta will become 2 theta, cos 6 theta will become 3 theta, tan 2 theta becomes theta, and 4 theta becomes 2 theta. Now you should also be able to perform reverse working. If you know this thing, you should be able to relate and replace this with tan 4 theta. Okay, now we have variation for okay, we will go into practice. We will go into practice for compound angle. So first we deal with sine theta. So we know that this is the identity, and this is the question. Can you find the value of x from here? Sorry, not the value of x. I mean, sorry, my bad. The question was only sine x. Okay. This became a disaster by showing you the solution. So I will not show the solution for the next one. So if it is given sine x plus 30, basically here we are showing how to use the formula. So you treat this is a and this is b. So sine a cos b. So sine x cos 30, cos a sine b. So cos x sine 30. Okay, and then you calculate cos 30, which is root 3 by 2, and sine 30, which is half. If the question is given something like cos x minus 45, can you tell me how to utilize that?
Root 2 by 2 cos x, or 1 by root 2 cos x plus 1 by root 2 sin x.
You definitely use the calculator. You wrote 2 root by 2. I didn't write 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 is root 2 by 2. নিচে root 2 এমনি ইউজ করতে এটা হারাম তো এটা
This is how they catch whether you have
আমি 1 by root 2 মুছতে না ও মাই গড আমি 1 by root 2 মুছতে পারতাম root 2 by 2 মুছতে পারতাম ও মাই গড এটা কি লজিক নাকি আমি তো মেমোরাইজ করতেছি why don't I just memorize root 2 by 2?
They won't accept root 2 by 2. If they see root 2 by 2, they will get to know that you have used the calculator, and they will deduct the marks, because you are supposed to know the exact value for cos 45, 1 by root 2.
নিচে তো ক্যালকুলেটর হারাম হ্যাঁ লাইক ম্যাথমেটিক্স তো হারাম করে দিয়েছে
Yeah, so that's why the calculator gives the answer in a rationalized fashion, and this is how they catch. You have this calculator minus.
না আমার ক্লাস ক্লাস
So you get this final answer.
Yes.
Now next question. Amma, did you get this final answer?
And I got the denominator wrong.
Now we move on to type 1 question form. So first we have r sine theta plus alpha, and then we have r cos theta plus minus alpha, and then we have to solve like we have to solve the equation. Now what I mean by that, okay, previously if we are given some an equation like this, how do you solve this, or how did you solve this up until this point? How do you solve the value for x? What like algebra did you do?
Yeah, so cos 4 cos x को दिखे नहीं जाओ, cos x के दिखे नहीं जाओ, sec को दिखे नहीं जाओ, then sin x minus 1 divided by cos x becomes tan x, and then you find the reference angle, and then tan and the equilibrium.
If you're thinking that you solved this using that, then you're correct. Okay, you can solve this, right? Now I give you solve this.
Copied the question. Now I'm gonna solve it.
Well, you can't solve it.
So আমি যেটা চিন্তা করছিলাম ওটা হলো x কে replace x by theta plus minus alpha.
Do whatever you want. Spend the rest of your life solving this. You won't be able to solve this. Because you cannot solve this directly. In order, so this type of question will come in two parts. First, they will tell you to express this thing in the form of sine, r sine theta minus alpha, and then you'll have to solve that. Okay, this question will always come in two parts: express in the form and then solve. So this is a question, and they will usually give 4 marks. So express this thing. You understand? 3 sine theta minus 4 cos theta. Express 3 sine theta minus 4 cos theta in the form r sine theta minus alpha, where r is greater than 0 and theta is between 0 and 90. How will you solve that? So I have to express this thing to this thing. So you write this thing identical to r sine theta, right? And then you use the compound angle for sine. Sine alpha, sine A cos B minus cos A cos B. You write, you break it using that formula, and then you multiply the r, and then you compare the coefficient. You know that sine theta, like these two sine theta are the same, so which means what? 3 and r cos alpha will be equal, so we can write r cos alpha equals to 3, and we can equate cos theta, and we can write negative 4 equals to negative r sine alpha. And then you have two equations, solve them simultaneously to get two unknown variables, which is r and alpha. Now here is a special, slightly different thing that you would do. Normally you make subject, you use using substitution or elimination method. Now what you will do is, step 1, divide 1 with 2, so that you get rid of the r, and you can make sine cos to tan, and you get alpha. Alpha is inverse of that. Step 2, square both sides and add these two equations. Square both sides and add the equations. So if you square both sides, what happens? It becomes sine square and cos square theta. When you add them, it becomes 1, and you get rid of the trigonometry identities as trigonometric terms, and sine r square equals to 25, and r is plus minus 25. Now because they have mentioned r is greater than 0, we only write r equals to 5. We'll discard the negative 1, and this is our alpha. This is our alpha. Now in the part 2, they will tell you to find this thing equals to 2. Now we have written this thing as this thing. So now you can solve this thing equals to 2 by replacing this thing with what we have just written. Now you have only one identity, and now you can solve it. Divide 2 with 5, you have only one identity. Again the same thing. You are not permission to take inverse, fix the range, substitute a, take alpha basic angle, and then calculate theta. Okay, all the same procedures. So reviewing what we have learned, this is the given part question. We have to convert this in the form of this thing. So you use the double angle formula for sine. Sine A minus B is sine A cos B minus cos A sine B, and you replace this thing with this thing. Then you multiply r and compare the coefficients. Sine theta equals to sine theta, so this thing must be equal to this thing. You get one equation from here. Cos theta equals to cos theta, which means what? their coefficient must be equal, and you get another equation from here.
But r isn't same for both, right? For sine theta it is 3 and for cos theta it is minus 4. So
No, yeah, r is the same. R cos theta equals to 3 and r sin theta equals to 4, not r. Yeah, r is the same. R is 5, but cos theta and sin theta is different, na?
oh yeah, I get it now.
Here you compare the coefficient for theta, sin theta. Here sin theta equals sin theta. So which means what? Their coefficient must be equal. We have written identical to, which means what? It is equal for all value of x, not only one. So if you have understood everything, now I'll give you problem.
We have 28.
Okay, if you have understood everything, this is the question that you'll have to solve.
MSA cos sin এটা যদি এক্সপেনশনটা sin a cos sin
Alright, so in the first part of the question they have asked express this thing in the form r cos. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to use the compound angle formula for cos here, and then same equate the cos theta with the cos theta, sin theta with the sin theta. You get two equations, you divide them to make a tan, you square them and add them to find r equals to 25 and theta equals alpha equals to 73.74. So you have to write your final answer like this. You understand? Okay, for the second part they have asked hence solve this thing. Now I have already written this thing as this thing. So solve this thing means you replace this thing with this equals to 15. Now first permission check to inverse, no. Change the range, substitute to a, find inverse, that is alpha, find all the values of a, and finally change it back to theta, and this is the answer. Theta is 20.61 and 126.87. Did you get them right? Did you get them right?
I got the first one right. I'm doing the second one.
Because you forgot to take anything minus. I always said take the minus angle first. Your range is up until negative 73, so you can take negative 53, and like you thought that you're solving for theta and you don't have. That's why I always say permission is not granted for inverse until you change the range. So you have to change this range. Now always be very careful about this. Let's suppose this was the result of first part. 7 cos theta plus 24 sin theta equals to 25 cos theta minus 73.74. For second part, substitute in place of theta. Let's say if the second part was something like this, they told you to convert this thing to this, and then they're asking to solve this. So what you have to do in that case, you have to replace this with 2x. You understand? If it was half x, then you just have to replace it with half theta. Here is the same thing. In the question, what they have asked us to change in the form and what they have told us to solve is the same thing. But if it happens that theta is something else, 2 theta or half theta, then you will have to remember this very advanced variation. You understand? In that case, you have to the thing that you have got here, you have to change the theta and then you put that thing equal to 15 and then solve. Here they have asked us to solve and we found this thing equal to this thing, so that's why what we did, we put this thing equals this. But instead, if they had asked us to solve 7 cos 2 theta, we put this thing exactly like this except for the theta. We write 2 theta and then you solve that. You understand? This is what I mean by this.
Next question, please.
Should we move on to the next question?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, so here what is the question? Let's see. Okay, express this thing in the form r sine theta. Okay, so you have to express this thing where r is greater than 0 and theta alpha is between 0 and 90. Okay, give the value of alpha, cardinal progression. The same thing, you have to rewrite this thing to here the working is not shown because it's the same thing. You understand? You have to break sine alpha minus, you have to say break it using the compound angle formula for sine, and then you will get this. What is different here? Hence find the smallest positive value of theta. You might think that there is no range given, but actually it's implied. Positive value of theta means what? Range is greater than 0.
Smallest.
That's why they said the smallest. You will choose the very first answer in this range.
Which is
Now here's the thing. We have theta minus 16. Here is theta, so you have to change it to theta minus 16. So A is greater than, actually your range actually becomes this. Look, your range actually becomes greater than negative 1.6. Understand? Not greater than 0.
much. You understand that?
Yes, I.
Answer key, answer that.
So answer is 59.1. Understand? And that's it for 7.
420.
So that's it. I think that is sufficient for this class. In the next session, which is most likely on Tuesday,